they talking real loud. Spreading no lie, trying to bring me down. Enemies lurking, but I won't back away. Got a vision in my mind, I'm here to stay. Got my crew beside me, we rise like a tide. When the storm gets rough, we ain't gonna hide. Poppin' get us swilling, but it won't touch me. Only love around, that's how it's gonna be. Keep moving forward, never looking back. The truth's in the power, it's an unstoppable track. In the city lights where dreams collide, we hustle through the night, fire in our stride. Whispers in the dark can't dim my glow. With rhythm in my soul, I'm ready for the show. We break the chains, rewrite the rules. In this concrete jungle where nobody's fools. Unity sings louder than the lies they scheme. In the heart of the struggle, we dare to dream. Keep moving forward, never looking back. The truth's in the power, it's an unstoppable track.
Another Queen Ahmadiyyah production.
Haze on the corner, they talking real loud. Spreading no lie, trying to bring me down. Enemies lurking, but I won't back away. Got a vision in my mind, I'm here to stay. Got my crew beside me, we rise like a tide. When the storm gets rough, we ain't gonna hide. Poppin' get us swilling, but it won't touch me. Only love around, that's how it's gonna be. Keep moving forward, never looking back. The truth's in the power, it's an unstoppable track. In the city lights where dreams collide, we hustle through the night, fire in our stride. Whispers in the dark can't dim my glow. With rhythm in my soul, I'm ready for the show. We break the chains, rewrite the rules. In this concrete jungle where nobody's fools. Unity sings louder than the lies they scheme. In the heart of the struggle, we dare to dream. Keep moving forward, never looking back. The truth's in the power, it's an unstoppable track. Haze on the corner, they talking real loud. Spreading no lie, trying to bring me down. Enemies lurking, but I won't back away. Got a vision in my mind, I'm here to stay. Got my crew beside me, we rise like a tide. When the storm gets rough, we ain't gonna hide. Poppin' get us swilling, but it won't touch me. Only love around, that's how it's gonna be. Keep moving forward, never looking back. The truth's in the power, it's an unstoppable track. In the city lights where dreams.
All right, hello everyone. Thanks for tuning back in once again to the original Queen Ahmadiyyah Shakur show. I'm your host, Queen Ahmadiyyah Shakur, and this is your morning wake-up call. So as you're coming in, please feel free to go ahead and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Be sure to click that notification bell and click the word all so you're notified each time the Queen Goddess goes live. All right, don't forget to follow me on Instagram at Dr._A_Shakur and Twitter at DGoddess27. Also, if you don't like what the Queen is cooking, you already know what to do. Okay, so let's see who's in here. I'm trying to pull this up on my phone, and for some reason, I can't even find it on here. Okay, so hello, Nessie X, Panther Strikes in the House, Cookie, That Crazy Beach Aries, Claudette is here. All right, Janie is here. All right, let's get into it, Coco. All right, Lady Kimberly, Most Hated Bronze Flat Power God, Noah is here. Above all that drama, Pensy Lola. Shout out to all of my moderators putting in work, and shout out to my loyal royals and everyone else tuned into the Queen. I see you, Donna. G from the land is here. Okay, so let's get this party started. Now, before we do, I don't know why I can't find the video on my phone. Has anybody had issues finding the videos? Honey, YouTube plays too many games. Hey, my Aunt Egypt. All right, so let's get into it. Before we get started, let's have a brief word from my sponsor at 12 Tribes. Likes up, everyone, please. Likes up. Thank you.
Do not buy 12 Tribes on Earth hair growth oil and hair magic elixir unless you want super healthy, gorgeous hair that grows. They have a whole line of amazing hair growth products, including hair growth leave-in conditioner spray, hair growth shampoo, hair growth spray, and hair growth butter. I'm starting to sense a theme here. They include quality natural ingredients. They smell amazing, and you can see the results for yourself. So if you're looking for healthy hair growth for your natural or relaxed hair, try 12 Tribes on Earth today.
Yeah, all right, I finally found it. Excuse me, I finally found it. Okay, so listen, don't forget you can purchase 12 Tribes oil for your hair at Etsy.com. Just look for Lisa Crafts. You can also find it at Walmart.com. Okay, so now let's get into it because this case with Jay-Z and Diddy just gets crazier and crazier. Now, of course, the case has already been dismissed, but we're finding out some more interesting news each day. So days ago, I reported to you all that Jane Doe was denying having admitted, Jay-Z was basically saying she admitted that she lied, that she made up the whole story, that he didn't have anything to do with it. Well, then she says that she never said that. So it was a back and forth. And for those of you who missed it, I actually did an upload with her response because on the initial video, I didn't have her response. Okay. Now, with that all being said, remember how she said Jay-Z sent goons to her house to harass and intimidate her? There were some investigators or whatever. Well, those investigators have come out and admitted speaking to her. And not only that, they actually did declarations, which we're going to get into because I have those legal docs. All right, so let's talk about it because this is all crazy. Jay-Z's great accuser speaks out amid rapper's defamation lawsuit against her and attorney Tony Busby. And some more information has also come out about her past and all of that. This young woman was actually in a mental health facility allegedly 90 days before filing the lawsuit or even meeting with Tony Busby. Okay, and so I find this also interesting. So let's get into it. Likes up, everyone. Don't forget, that's how you can support the stream absolutely for free. Jay-Z's great accuser reportedly confessed to lying about his involvement, claiming her attorney, Tony Busby, pressured her to include him in the lawsuit. Now, the Alabama woman who identifies herself as Jane Doe in court documents spoke to a private investigator named Charlotte Henderson on February the 21st of 2025. Now, I'm going to read to you momentarily the declaration signed by Ms. Henderson. Now, Henderson filed an affidavit on Wednesday stating the two met in Doe's home and that during their meeting, Doe allegedly admitted that Busby pushed her to include the hip-hop mogul in her lawsuit. Now, she said Jay-Z supposedly didn't have anything to do with it, but Busby made her do it. And, I'm just wondering if there's any truth to that because do you all remember how there was supposedly a male accuser who said that Jay-Z did something to him, according to Tony Busby, that Jay-Z did something to him when he was a minor also, but that case never was filed. But Jay-Z did say that Busby actually sent him a demand letter for that person as well. So I just want you all to pay attention because it just really is now starting to look like Busby was doing a whole lot of sketchy things. So anyway, Doe also told the investigator that Busby allegedly said Jay-Z threatened to kill her, which led to her dropping the lawsuit. Now, think about that. The investigator is alleging that Jane Doe said Tony Busby told her that Jay-Z threatened to kill her. Now, Busby, as an attorney, if someone made that sort of threat, that's a terroristic threat. And he didn't go to the police. But let's continue. So it comes a day after Jay-Z, who is wed to fellow music superstar Beyonce, after he filed a defamation lawsuit against the anonymous woman and Busby. Now, Henderson, the investigator, says that Doe said she told Busby that Jay-Z was at the party where the alleged rape occurred, but claims that she told him Jay-Z was not even involved. Now, despite her statements, Busby filed a lawsuit alleging both Jay-Z and Diddy as assaulted her. Now, after media outlets uncovered some inconsistencies in her story, she dismissed the lawsuit last month. Now, Henderson met with Doe a week after the dismissal. In the affidavit, Henderson states that Doe declared 4 times that Jay-Z did not assault her. When she was asked if she would sign an affidavit stating that, she reportedly asked, "But how does that help me?" Henderson claims that she was not hired by Jay-Z or his legal team to do the investigation. Now, it's unclear who, if anyone, paid her. Well, I find this all interesting because if Jay-Z's team didn't hire her, who did? If Jay-Z's team didn't hire her, who did? Panther Strike said, this case is not a case. It's a case of half-wits, bag chasers, freak-off freaks, and stupid ambulance chasing lawyers. Can't forget the mentally insane. Okay, I mean, it's really a fiasco. Please pay attention. Vince I Am says in the Queen's voice, say what now? Okay. Anita says Diddy looks crazy and Jay-Z looks creepy. Y'all are something else, but let me continue. So anyway, goes on to say that she said 4 different times that Jay-Z didn't assault her. Now, additionally, private investigator Ian Pillinger, now this is a whole nother private investigator, okay, he filed an affidavit, and I'm going to read that to you as well. He filed an affidavit revealing Doe's alleged recent stay in a mental health facility, okay, just 90 days prior to Busby's demand letter to Jay-Z. Now, did Tony Busby know this woman was in a whole mental health facility? Because if she didn't tell him this, he should have still known if he had done his due diligence and conducted a thorough investigation when he was vetting his clients, okay? And then this is all real crazy because 90 days, like literally 90 days before she had this lawsuit filed, she was in a mental health facility. Now, we know we can't trust what she's saying. She probably was sitting in that mental health facility watching this all play out on the news and just concocted her own story. Now, of course, that's my opinion. Okay, I have no proof of that. Now, Busby responded to the latest development, telling TMZ each assertion is flat out false and made up. Jane Doe called referring counsel the Ava Law Group, and this is what Busby says, that Jane Doe called the Ava Law Group. Okay, that's the referring counsel that referred her to Busby allegedly, and alleged that she was assaulted by P. Diddy and Jay-Z before her case was ever referred to our firm. That's indisputable, says Busby. So he went on to claim that they have obtained the intake sheet from Ava Law Group, where Doe was a client long before she went to Busby's firm. Now, in that form created by their firm, he says it shows who she was making the assertions against. Those investigators likely didn't know that the paper trail will demonstratively prove what they're saying is false. Now, none of the actual documentation supports that false story that Jay-Z's team is trying to sell to the public. On Monday, it was revealed that Jay-Z has sued the Alabama woman and Busby, saying the lies and extortionate threats made by them led him to lose $20 million. Okay, so the artist accused the defendants in the case, and in addition to attorney David Fortney of malicious prosecution, abuse of process, civil conspiracy, and defamation, according to the legal documents filed in Alabama and reviewed by this publication. Now, in the legal complaint, Jay-Z says the defendants were soullessly motivated by greed in an abject disregard of the truth and the most fundamental precepts of human decency. Busby represented the woman claiming the 24-time Grammy winner and Combs assaulted her when she was 13. She claims the incident took place at an MTV Video Music Awards after party in September of 2000. Now, the case was dismissed last month with the rapper saying that today is a victory. The frivolous, fictitious, and appalling allegations have been dismissed. This civil suit was without merit and never going anywhere. Busby told the Daily Mail exclusively on Monday that this new case alleges the same claims as the other one they pieced together and filed in Los Angeles. Likes up, everyone, please like and share. He says, like the one in LA, this new case in Alabama also has no legal merit. He went on to say that Sean Carter's investigators have repeatedly harassed and threatened this poor woman for weeks, trying to intimidate her and make her recant her story. Now, she hasn't and won't. Instead, she has stated repeatedly that she stands by her claims. These same group of investigators have been caught on tape offering to pay people to sue me and my firm. Now, Busby told the DailyMail.com that he spoke with Jane Doe today, and it appears that the quotes attributed to her in the lawsuit are completely made up, or they spoke to someone who isn't Jane Doe. Now, the attorney added, saying, this is just another attempt to intimidate and bully this poor woman that we will deal with in due course. He wrapped up his statement saying, we won't be bullied or intimidated by frivolous cases. Oh, Busby, the case that's frivolous is this one. Okay, I mean, he has a whole lot of nerve to say they won't be bullied and intimidated by frivolous cases because, honey, if any case is frivolous, it's this one that he filed. Okay? That's why they dismissed it. But so anyway, goes on to say, DailyMail.com has reached out to reps for Jay-Z for comment on the story. Now, in January, lawyers for Jay-Z asked the court to sanction Busby, alleging he did not personally meet with the woman ahead of the filing. Okay, so they claimed that Busby hadn't even met this woman, hadn't sat down and talked to her, any of that prior to the filing. Now, that's what Jay-Z's attorney said. And so basically, if he hadn't even met with her, how did he vet her? Now, he can say other people in the office did, but wouldn't it have made more sense for him to also do the same, to at least have sat down and had a conversation with this woman prior to filing the documents? I mean, if this is true. So the legal team for the 24-time Grammy winner, led by attorney Alex Spiro, said Busby admitted to not personally speaking with the woman ahead of filing the case, which is a major ethical lapse. Yeah, that's just ignorant. Okay, that's just real stupid. Now, Busby told the DailyMail.com in response that what Spiro has filed, like everything else he has filed thus far, is utterly frivolous and meritless. Busby previously told TMZ that he did, in fact, personally interview the plaintiff, as did 4 other attorneys, noting that he said that anyone who says otherwise has their own agenda. Busby told the DailyMail.com that with every frantic filing, the defense in this case grows more desperate. He added that of his case against the rapper, whose name is Sean Carter, the rules apply equally to everyone, even those who wrongly think they are above the law. No one's above the law. Now, this is what Busby previously said, if you all remember. So lawyers for Jay-Z said that Busby, whose Texas-based firm is in charge of more than 150 people suing Diddy, didn't properly vet the woman accusing Jay-Z ahead of a December interview that she conducted with NBC News, in which she acknowledged inconsistencies in her story. Jane Doe said in her legal filing that she was living in Rochester in 2000 when she made her way to New York City and befriended a limousine driver who drove her to the party in a trek that took about 20 minutes. Busby said that his firm is representing more than 150 people, both male and female, who claim Combs' abused and exploited them. Now, many of Busby's legal filings include allegations of spiked drinks at lavish parties in locales such as New York, California, and Florida. Combs' lawyers have characterized Busby's lawsuits as shameless publicity stunts designed to extract payments from celebrities who fear having lies spread about them, just as lies have been spread about Mr. Combs. Now, Jay-Z and Combs gained fame okay, we're not going to get into all of that. So anyway, of course, Diddy has pleaded not guilty to all the allegations against him, and Jay-Z has adamantly denied this whole situation here from start to finish. At the end of the day, I'll tell you all. Now we got to get into these declarations. So what do you all think? Do you all think that this lady just made up this whole thing? Because I absolutely do. At this point, I think she absolutely made this whole story up. Whether or not Busby told her to include Jay-Z when Jay-Z initially wasn't involved in it, I don't know. But I think that she made this whole story up. Okay, and I believe these investigators. Now, for what reason the investigators arrived at her residence, I don't know. Like, who sent them there? They're saying they definitely don't work for Jay-Z. Well, they work for somebody. Who would have a stake in this? Who would gain anything by having them to come and confront this young lady, ask her a myriad of questions, and just, gather intel? Who would benefit from that? Well, Jay-Z and Diddy. So, and remember, just months ago, we had people on TikTok posting videos of investigators at their residences asking questions about Diddy and asking them to change their story about Diddy, or questioning them about stories they had posted about Diddy. Do you all remember that? So maybe this is these are people that Diddy may have hired, because Diddy has a stake in this too. Okay, if the case is dismissed, he's going to benefit, which it was dismissed. So maybe Diddy did it. Above all that drama, says she is a lying bag grabber. Well, yeah, that's probably all true. That is probably all true. So anyway, honey, it's all real crazy. So now let's read her declaration. I'm going to pull that up on the screen. I'm going to pull her declaration up on the screen. And we're going to get into it, because herself, as well as the investigators, all gave declaration statements. So let's talk about it. Like, sub, everyone, please like and share. Thank you in advance. Okay, so declaration of Jane Doe. She says, I am over the age of 18 and I am the individual referred to as Jane Doe in the action. Hold on, let me see if I can enlarge this just a bit. Okay, it's not working. Okay, so anyway, goes on to say, I am the individual referred to as Jane Doe in the action Jane Doe versus Combs, Sean Combs et al. Okay, I am also the individual identified as Jane Doe in a letter, demand letter sent by defendant, the law firm, the Busby law firm, to Sean Carter in or about November of 2024. I was granted permission to proceed under a pseudonym in New York, in the New York action, and make this declaration under a pseudonym for the same reasons as in the New York action. Now, I have personal knowledge of the facts set forth herein, which are known by me to be true and correct. And if called as a witness, I could and would competently testify thereto. This declaration is submitted in support of the defendants, the Busby law firm, and Anthony G. Busby. Okay, the motion to strike under Code of Civil Procedure, section 425.16. Now, on Friday, February the 21st of 2025, I was approached at my home by two individuals, a woman and a large man. They cornered me on my front porch and told me that they are investigators working with an attorney on behalf of Jay-Z. They asked me if I would be willing to sign an affidavit stating that my claim in the New York action was false. I refused. They also asked me if Mr. Busby sought me out as a client and whether Mr. Busby offered to pay me to pursue a false claim against Jay-Z. Excuse me. I told them that neither of those things ever happened, and I asked them to leave me alone. I felt intimidated and terrified at being confronted by two individuals on my doorstep and that they knew my name and home address despite me being anonymous in the New York action. I also understand that investigators approached my father and my mother multiple times. Two investigators approached my father and mother as my father was picking my mother up from a medical appointment, asking them similar questions about whether Mr. Busby had paid me and requesting that they sign affidavits in stating that my claims were false. My father was separately approached later at a gas station, and my mother was separately approached at a store. Well, honey, they must have been just really stalking them to be doing all of that. I find it all so interesting. Now, in all instances, my parents refused to sign any affidavits, denied the investigators' claims that my case and Mr. Busby's conduct, and asked to be left alone. It is very alarming to me that Jay-Z's agents are looking for me and now know my whereabouts. Fear of intimidation and retaliation from Jay-Z and his associates or fans is one of the reasons that I chose not to pursue the New York action and instructed my attorneys to dismiss it. Although I ultimately chose not to pursue them, I stand by my claims in the New York action and believe that I had a meritorious claim against Jay-Z. In September of 2000, when I was approximately 13 years old, I attended a party at a home in New York where both Sean Combs, Diddy, and Jay-Z were present. I saw and recognized both men at the party. At the party, I accepted a drink and began to feel lightheaded. I went into an empty room to lie down by myself. Soon after that, Diddy and Jay-Z and another individual entered the room. Jay-Z removed my clothes, and both Jay-Z and Diddy engaged in sexual encounters with me. I did not consent to this, and given that I was only 13 at the time, I could not have given my valid consent. In 2024, I signed up as a client with AVA Law Group. AVA Law Group partnered with the Busby law firm to pursue claims against Diddy and others, and my case was referred to the Busby law firm as a result. Several attorneys from the Busby law firm interviewed me extensively, including Anthony Busby, or Mr. Busby. I authorized Mr. Busby and the Busby law firm to send a demand letter to Jay-Z and to initiate legal proceedings against him in the New York action. I ultimately decided to dismiss the New York action because I was frightened by the reaction of Jay-Z and his supporters and the likelihood that I would have to be publicly named and subjected to public attacks. Jay-Z and his attorneys made numerous public statements attacking the veracity of my claims. And I am informed and believed that he sent investigators looking for me. I understand that even my attorneys have been sued by Jay-Z. I was not prepared to undergo years of attacks, intimidation, and harassment, and ultimately to choose to dismiss my claims and certain negotiations among the attorneys involved in the New York action. I declare under penalty of perjury under the laws of the state of California that the foregoing is true and correct. And it's signed Jane Doe. So what do you all think about that? Queen, knowing what we know now about Jane Doe, her declaration is false. Who's looking for her? Martians? Jane Doe doesn't know what day it is. A scripted declaration. Okay, I mean, you know, I'm not going to say it's scripted, but I definitely find it all interesting. Okay, so, but let's continue. And so, Doe appears to be suffering from personal. Now, this is after hiring the Busby law firm. Doe falsely accuses Mr. Carter of assault in written correspondence, court filings, and on global television. Okay, this is one of the pages from the legal docs. Doe appears to be suffering from personal and financial hardship. She lost custody of her children, and her parents, who on information and belief support Doe, recently filed for bankruptcy protection. Now, desperate to obtain a payday, Doe hired the Busby law firm, which has a long history of whipping up a media frenzy with vague and sensational claims against public figures, to extort payments from Mr. Carter under the threat of devastating harm to his reputation. As discussed below, Doe first attempted to extort Mr. Carter through an extortionate demand letter, an anonymous lawsuit, both from Busby. Now, when Mr. Carter refused to capitulate to Doe's baseless claims or demands, Doe doubled down by using the justice system to attempt to ruin Mr. Carter by formally naming Mr. Carter in a complaint, making horrific false allegations, and then that also failed. Doe resorted to defaming Mr. Carter on global television. Now, a simple Google or other public record search of Doe by Busby and Fortney would have cast doubt on her credibility by revealing, amongst other things, less than 90 days before sending the demand letter, she had been in court on mental health related issues in connection with her second-degree assault charge. What? Are y'all listening? Do y'all hear this? And had her bail revoked for failing a rug with a D test. Okay, so she's been accused of taking illegal substances. Okay, please pay attention. Mental health issues, had an assault charge, and then had her bail revoked for failing a rug test with a D. She has several mental health disorders and takes multiple medications, according to testimony from her psychiatrist, okay, laid bare in public court records. She made 3 other assault allegations, which were dropped or dismissed by courts. Oh, y'all hearing this? Let the record reflect that you heard it here first. I need y'all to let the record reflect that you heard it here first. This is absolutely nefarious. Y'all hear this mess? This young lady has accused people falsely, allegedly, before. Wow. So out here doing illegal substances, beating up people, allegedly, and lying, and been in a mental health facility 90 days before having this lawsuit against Jay-Z and Diddy filed. Tony Busby, you are a piece of scum as far as I'm concerned. Okay? Because he didn't know any of this. Tony Busby had no knowledge of this. Please make it all make sense. This is all egregious, honey. Are y'all listening? Now let's go to the next declaration, because this is one from one of the investigators. Likes up, everyone, please like and share. Now this is a declaration from the investigator by the name of Ian Pillinger. And this is what he says. Ian Pillinger, declare as follows. I make this declaration in support of plaintiff's ex parte application in connection with defendant's special motion to strike. Unless otherwise noted, I have personal knowledge of the facts, and herein If called upon to testify, I could and would competently testify thereto. I am an employee of Guide Spot Solutions LLC, which is licensed to conduct investigations in the state of New York. Okay, well, one thing about it is we know the investigators are from New York, not Texas or Alabama. At least this one is. So who hired him? Okay, this man definitely is probably working for Jay-Z. And the young lady says that they told her they work for attorneys for Jay-Z. Okay, so they either work for Jay-Z or Diddy, but let me continue. I was provided with the name of plaintiff Jane Doe, Miss Doe, the person on whose behalf defendants filed a lawsuit captioned as Jane Doe v. Sean Combs et al. In the Southern District of New York on October the 20th of 2024. Based on publicly available records and internet searches, this investigation revealed the following information about Jane Doe. Okay, to protect Ms. Doe's privacy and identity, I am not disclosing her name. Listen to this. I want you all to pay attention, because if Busby and his lawyers, his team of attorneys that work with him, if they actually vetted this young lady, how come they don't know this stuff? How come they didn't find this out? With a simple Google search is all you had to do. And when you vet someone, that means that you go, you check their background, you check who they are to make sure they are who they say they are. You gather receipts and evidence from what they are telling you. If they're saying that 10 people did something to them, you go and find out who these 10 people are. You go and speak with those 10 people. I mean, you have to try to figure out if they're telling the truth, if their story sounds plausible. If they're telling you there's witnesses to whatever they're saying happened to them, you go and speak to witnesses. These are the things you do to vet their story. If they tell you the story happened at 785th Street at a big white house with a U-shaped driveway, you go to that address and see if, in fact, there is a big white house with a U-shaped driveway. You fact check the things that they're saying. That's what you do when you vet a story. Because I heard someone foolishly say that when you vet a story, you just make sure the story's plausible. No, there's a whole lot more to than plausibility. You have to make sure that they at least sound as if they're telling the truth, and that they have some things to back up, some sort of evidence to back up the allegations that they're making. Otherwise, if it just sounds totally crazy or outlandish and you can't find anything to substantiate or any basis for the claims, then you would just probably say it's frivolous. But let me continue, because this is all getting real interesting. And so anyway, goes on to say that I am not disclosing her name. Jane Doe has a legally documented history of mental health issues. Her parents have custody over her son, and she lost custody over her daughter because an Alabama court determined that Doe has engaged in a series of activities, both before and after the child's birth, that the court found to be inconsistent with someone demonstrating a good mental health. According to the court, in this case, Jane Doe has a history of bipolar disorder. But that's not just it. She has bipolar disorder, borderline personality disorder, obsessive compulsive disorder, and psychogenic non-epileptic seizures, also known as PNES. Jane Doe's doctor gave a deposition in the case, a transcript of which is publicly available. So they could have just Googled this. Busby, what the hell are you doing? In which the doctor stated that Jane Doe has a history of auditory hallucinations. Lord have mercy on us. This poor young lady is completely out of her mind, if this is all true, and I believe that it is. She has auditory hallucinations. Do you know what that means? That means that she literally hears voices. This woman has voices in her head. Now, did the voices in her head tell her to lie on Jay-Z and Diddy? Honey, this is all real messy, but let's keep going, honey, because I absolutely cannot. So goes on to say she has a history of auditory hallucinations, that is, hearing voices that other people don't hear. Jane Doe was in a mental health facility less than 90 days before the defendants in this case sent their demand letter. She has recently been under the care of a psychologist. She regularly posts on social media, including on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok, about the difficulties she has living with her condition. Now, she alleged in a child custody case that that the unwed father of one of her children believed that he was Jesus Christ. So, Lord, do y'all hear this? Not only is she crazy, but the baby daddy is crazy too, honey, talking about he's Jesus. Ooh, this is all so nefarious. See, this is why anybody who says believe all believe all victims is a damn fool. Anybody who suggests believe all victims is a damn fool, because some of these people are absolutely not victims. Some of them just make up stuff for the hell of it. Some of them make up stuff to get money. Some of them make up stuff because they have mental health issues, like allegedly this young lady has. Chosen One says, wow, and she was supposed to be credible. Shaking my head. Okay. That crazy bitch Eric says, how can one keep up with all the lies and crazy? I know, right? Shadow 13 says, because people have mental issues, mental illness, that doesn't mean SA cases are false. Well, honey, I definitely didn't say that means the cases are false, but this case is false. That's why I was dismissed. Okay? We've heard all the inconsistencies, and what it does mean, if somebody has auditory hallucinations, beloved, they're hearing voices in their head, honey, you're not going to convince me that they're credible. You're not going to convince me to believe any and everything that they say. That's what you're not going to do, because I don't know if that's your mind telling you to say that or the voices in your mind. Okay? Of course, we know assault is real. It's a thing. It happens to many people. But the bottom line is, did anything happen to her? Okay? Did anything happen to her? Honey, she made this story up because she's plumb crazy. Okay? Anyway, let me continue. Goes on to say, now that's just my opinion. All right? And so anyway, let me go back to where I was. Okay, so Jane Doe also has a criminal history. In 2023, Jane Doe was indicted on a charge of assaulting and causing a physical injury to a detention officer, beating up the police. Oh, y'all hearing this? Remember, you heard it here first. She was released on bond, but she has since, thrice since, okay, that means 3 times, had her bond revoked because she failed 2 illegal substance tests and tampered with a 3rd. So she had her bond revoked 3 times. Most recently, she failed a rug test on August 19th of 2024, which caused her case to be transferred from mental health court back to district court. Earlier in 2023, Jane Doe was charged with assault with bodily fluids. Ew. So she threw bodily fluids on somebody. Do y'all hear this nasty stuff? Yeah, she's real insane. This sounds like someone who has serious mental health issues. Okay, she was charged with assault with bodily fluids. Okay, maybe she spat on them. But nonetheless, it's still disgusting. Now, in 2022, she pled guilty to unlawfully using possessing rug paraphernalia. Jane Doe has accused at least 4 other people, other than Mr. Carter, of S assault. Jane Doe accused someone of S assault and of branding her on the cheek, but the court dismissed the claim. So she lied and said somebody branded her cheek. The court dismissed the claim. In a social media post, Jane Doe stated that she was a victim of S abuse when she was 6 years old. According to her ex-husband, Jane Doe falsely accused the ex-husband of molesting with an M the daughter they have together. This woman's dangerous. This woman is dangerous. If these things are true, this woman is dangerous. She's out here lying on people. She could get somebody locked up and in serious trouble. Now, they also accused a man on social media of seeking nude photos of minors in exchange for money and posted a picture of his face. And that was a lie. She posted on social media regarding a separate incident where someone allegedly carved the word freak into her chest against her will. I declare under penalty of perjury under the laws of the state of California that the foregoing is true and correct. Executed on this 4th day of March 2025 in Brooklyn, New York, Ian Pillinger. Honey, when I tell you this is all nefarious, do y'all hear this? Now, this man said this woman not only, and he found this by doing a mere Google search. And you mean to tell me Tony Busby and his law firm or the AVA Group law firm, neither of them found this information out? This is all just very crazy. Now, this is the declaration from Charlotte Henderson. I make this declaration in support of plaintiff's ex parte application in connection with the defendant's special motion to strike. Unless otherwise noted, I have personal knowledge of the facts stated herein. If called upon to testify, I could and would completely testify thereto. I am a licensed private investigator. I was not hired by plaintiff or plaintiff's attorneys to perform the investigation I described in this declaration. On Friday, February the 21st of 2025, along with investigator James Butler, I met with plaintiff Jane Doe, Miss Doe, the person on whose behalf defendants filed the lawsuit captioned as Jane Doe versus Sean Combs et al. In Southern District of New York on October the 20th of 2024. To protect Miss Doe's privacy and identity, I am not disclosing here her name or any other facts that enabled me to include or conclude the woman I met was in fact Miss Doe. We met with Miss Doe on the front porch of her home in Alabama. Miss Doe confirming that she was, in fact, the Jane Doe plaintiff in the lawsuit. Miss Doe, Mr. Butler, and I were the only people present. Throughout our discussion, Miss Doe appeared calm and at ease. She maintained a natural demeanor and engaged in conversation freely. Miss Doe's body language, including her nodding, relaxed posture, and steady tone of voice, reinforced that she did not feel scared or intimidated during our interaction. At no point during our interaction did Miss Doe request to be left alone. During our conversation, Miss Doe told me, among other things, the following facts. A, she saw an advertisement on Facebook for the AVA law firm concerning Sean Combs. Didn't I tell y'all she's probably sitting up there in that mental health institution looking at social media, okay, and just gathering facts and then create her own story? But let me continue. The AVA law group referred her to defendant Tony Busby and his law firm. Miss Doe met Mr. Busby for the first time in Houston, Texas. He paid to fly her there. Their meeting to discuss the case took place when Miss Doe flew out. When she flew out for an interview that Mr. Busby had arranged for Miss Doe to give to NBC News and Mr. Busby's office. Okay, now if this is to be believed, if this is correct and true, then that means that Tony Busby just let that lady go and do that interview without even sitting down and talking to her and discussing it more than likely, because this document is saying that they met for the first time when he flew her in for this interview. So you mean to tell me he didn't prep her for the interview or anything, didn't do any good serious vetting, didn't ask her or, how she was going to answer certain questions or whatever, didn't verify the things that she was going to say? This is all crazy. Now, D, Jane Doe stated to me that Mr. Carter did not assault her. E, Jane Doe stated to me that she originally told Mr. Busby that she had been raped by Sean Combs and a world-renowned female celebrity who was present for the assault, and that Mr. Busby suggested that she claimed that Mr. Carter was another rapist. Jane Doe stated Mr. Busby brought Jay-Z into it, and that he was the one that kind of pushed me towards going forward with him, with Jay-Z. Jane Doe said that Mr. Busby asked her if Mr. Carter had been at the party. Miss Doe told Mr. Busby that Mr. Carter was at the party, but she told me that Mr. Carter did not take part in any assault of Miss Doe. Jane Doe confirmed the following regarding Mr. Carter during our interview. Jay-Z had nothing to do with this, correct? Right. Other than he was at the party that you were at. So I mean, he did not assault you. No. He was just there, but he didn't have anything to do with any acts towards you. Yeah. Jane Doe said to me that lawyers at Mr. Busby's law firm told her if she pursued Mr. Carter, she would get a payout. Miss Doe said to me that shortly before Mr. Busby dismissed the lawsuit against Mr. Carter, Mr. Busby told Miss Doe that Mr. Carter was threatening to kill her. Was threatening to kill her in response to the lawsuit and came after her. Upon hearing that, Miss Doe agreed to drop her case. Miss Doe stated 4 times that Mr. Carter did not assault her. After Miss Doe had voluntarily and consistently affirmed this, we inquired whether she would be open to signing an affidavit reflecting what she had told us. She responded by saying, "But how does that help me? I declare under penalty of perjury under the laws of the state of California in the foregoing that the foregoing is true and correct. Executed on this 4th day of March 2025, signed Charlotte Henderson." What do you all have to say about this? Oh, I absolutely cannot. I absolutely cannot. Shadow says, I thought he wasn't at the party. I mean, I don't know if he was or not. She says he was. He said that he wasn't. At this point, who's lying? Okay, Panther Strike said she was never a credible witness from jump. No, absolutely not. She's made this up before. She has a history of lying on folks. This is awful. This is absolutely awful. Vince I Am says, since both sides are members of Illuminati, allegedly, the Jane Does being used sound like they were MK Ultra, allegedly. This woman has some serious mental health issues from the sounds of it, if what they're saying is true. Shadow says, I'm going to sit down somewhere and wait for the evidence. You go ahead and sit down somewhere, beloved. I'm going to sit down right beside you, honey, because this is all shocking and appalling. Okay, G from the Land said mental health issues. I absolutely cannot. Okay, Claudette said the story sounded far-fetched from the beginning. Look at TC Dan. TC Dan said the queen is bewildered, perplexed, and forlorn with all this nefarious. TC Dan, you are something else. Now, you know you are wrong for that. Not bewildered, perplexed, and forlorn. I absolutely cannot with you. Well, I'm going to tell you all something. This is really a shocker. Busby has to be out of his damn mind. Okay, what the hell is he up to? I mean, he has to be an ambulance chaser at this point. That's exactly what he has to be, in my opinion. You mean to tell me this woman has all of these issues going on and he didn't know anything about it? Neither did the team of attorneys working with him. They didn't know she had all these serious mental health. These are serious mental health issues. Okay? This is very crazy. This woman has a host of mental health issues, was in fact 90 days prior to filing the lawsuit and meeting with Tony Busby, was in a whole mental health facility. Her ex-boyfriend, the father of one of her children, thinks he's Jesus. And then to compound it and make matters even worse, she's been accused of using illegal substances and in fact failed several drug tests. Is violent, allegedly, according to court documents or according to the case against her, assault, and even assaulted someone with bodily fluids. This is all so nefarious. I want you all to pay attention. Okay, this is all beyond crazy. Whew. Claudette said meth. Okay, Jeff ATL said Anthony Busby is a certified ambulance chaser. He absolutely is at this point. I'm sorry, Busby. It's true. That's what you are. How could you? And he doesn't seem like he vetted this woman at all. I see why Jay-Z sued him. Okay, I hope Jay-Z wins his lawsuit against Busby. I hope Jay-Z wins his lawsuit against Tony Busby. Because what in the hell is wrong with you, man? He needs to be made an example of. We can't have lawyers out here doing stuff like this. This is all crazy. People's livelihood is on the line. People's freedom is on the line. Okay, you can get somebody sent to prison on bogus charges that somebody just completely fabricated and just made up. Completely fictitious. This is going to help Diddy. This is going to help Diddy. Now, they said that they weren't hired by Jay-Z, but they didn't say they weren't hired by Diddy. Please pay attention. Somebody hired them because you didn't just get on a plane from New York all the way down to Alabama, go and look this woman up and knock on her door, stand on her porch and ask her a myriad of questions. That's what you didn't just do. Okay? That's what you didn't just do. Now, the thing is, it would be more plausible for Jay-Z's people to have sent these investigators because they basically were questioning her about Jay-Z, not Diddy. They weren't saying, oh, did Diddy do this to you? They didn't mention Diddy. They were asking about Jay-Z. So I don't know who sent her or sent these investigators there. But to me, that was a pretty smart move. That was a pretty smart move. Now, she's sitting there saying that they harassed her and all of that and threatened her and intimidated her. I don't believe any of that. I don't believe they did any of that because, first of all, they're professional private investigators, supposedly. And for two, I don't see that they would put their licenses on the line by intimidating and threatening a witness. okay, that they went to speak to, not to mention all of the evidence that they've given in those affidavits, doesn't sound like they made it up. I absolutely believe it. Okay, I absolutely believe it. At the end of the day, this is all just crazy. It's all crazy. And here's the thing, bottom line is, if they threatened and intimidated her or did anything nefarious, I told you all, I want to see her proof. She didn't record the conversation, the interaction. She didn't record any audio. She didn't do any of that. Unless she has proof that they were intimidating and threatening her, I don't believe her. I think that they came there and spoke to her just like they're saying. And if they did anything crazy, if they did anything illegal, unethical, do you think they'd be so willing to write, to sign a declaration? Because they didn't have to sign a declaration. That's what they didn't have to do. They were willing to sign one. Okay. So now it just looks like little Miss Jane Doe is not quite, just is not telling the truth, and that she is not quite honest and has allegedly told these sorts of lies before. This is very dangerous. And then even accusing the children's father of molesting one of the children, saying that a man on social media that she probably didn't even know, just randomly found his picture for all we know, and said that this man was doing something to children. This is all crazy. And all of these cases have been tossed, just so you know. So all of these frivolous cases have been tossed. So how did Tony Busby and the AVA law group, how did none of them know this information? You know what? I wonder if the AVA law group knew this and just set Tony Busby up because they know that he's just full of greed. I wonder if they knew, vetted this girl, saw that she had some type of sort of mental health issues, and knew that her story was sketchy, and that's why they referred her to Busby. Because why wouldn't they want to take her on as a client themselves if they thought there was a huge payday coming? Okay, I'm sorry, make that make sense. Hold on, let me look up something real quick. Okay, now I wanted to see if the AVA law group were personal injury attorneys, because if they are personal injury attorneys, then you would have to ask yourself, why would they send a client who has this big name, high profile celebrity, or celebrities, if we talk about Jay-Z and Diddy, that they're accusing? Why would they refer her to Tony Busby? They absolutely are personal injury attorneys, just like Tony Busby. And in fact, they're top. Okay, this says that they're top personal injury attorneys. Top personal injury attorneys. That's what it says. So you mean to tell me they're going to send this person to Tony Busby if they thought she had a plausible case, if they thought that what she was saying was true? They clearly didn't believe what she was saying, or they thought something maybe was sketchy about her story. Because why would they refer her to Tony Busby? Why didn't they want to take the case? I just have a whole lot of questions. Bree says them lies don't have anything to do with autism either. Yeah, no one's suggesting they did, but I think they have something to do with mental health issues. I think they absolutely have something to do with mental health issues. I mean, she clearly, if she's hearing voices in her head, voices could be telling her to say anything, to do anything. That's why this is a dangerous person. Okay? And the fact that she was just let out of a mental health facility and has been prone to violence, allegedly, and then she comes up and concocts this story, I'd say that she needs to be put back in a mental health facility. Okay? That's what I'd have to say. I'd venture to guess that she needs to be taken back and mentally evaluated again. And is she taking her medications? I have several questions. At the end of the day, this is all nefarious, okay? This is all so crazy. Easy says, that's the connection I'm talking about. He's well connected. Claudia said, just goes to show some lawyers will do anything for a quick buck. Exactly. I mean, Tony Busby, this is all deplorable. This is deplorable behavior. You know what? They should definitely sanction him. He should be stripped of his law license. If everything that has been alleged in this case is true, he should not be allowed to practice law as far as I'm concerned, because this is egregious. Okay? This is a gross misconduct of law. All right? This is nefarious. Dan says, can't be skipping medications if you really need them. Exactly. Jeff ATL said, hell no, she ain't taking her meds. Anthony said, Queen, don't forget Tony put out put all that out during the NBC interview where all that came from. Yeah, he did say that she had he said that she had autism. He didn't say anything about her having mental health issues. He didn't say anything about that during that interview. He didn't say that she had been incarcerated. He didn't say that she had a criminal history. He didn't say that she was prone to violence. Nothing about her assaulting someone, and definitely nothing about her telling lies on people for other assault allegations. Okay? This is very problematic. Okay, I don't know how this is all going to turn out for Diddy. Because see, let me tell y'all something. All these fabricated stories keep popping up. All of these accusers that have been found to have been liars. I mean, the list of names keeps growing and growing and growing. Now that we know all of this, those other cases that Tony Busby has found, where are they going? Besides in the trash. Okay, can you believe any of those cases? Mind you, this has nothing to do with the criminal case because it's civil. But the bottom line is, you don't think that Diddy's defense team will get in there during his trial and bring up the fact that there's been a myriad of accusers who've lied on Diddy for civil suits so they can just get money? And that may also have tainted the jury pool because it's been all over social media, all over the news, all over TMZ. There's documentaries. How is Diddy going to get a fair trial? He isn't. There's no way Diddy can get a fair trial at this point, as far as I'm concerned. Diddy's going to get a mistrial. This is not going to turn out like we expected. Diddy is not going to be found guilty of this because I'm telling you, how can he get a fair trial with all of these shenanigans that continue to come out? All of these things have muddied the jury pool significantly. Diddy's getting off on a technicality. How much y'all want to bet? Okay. So Shadow said, right. So why dismiss the sanctions? Well, the sanctions were dismissed, beloved. I explained this to you all days ago. The reason Jay-Z had to dismiss the sanctions is because he improperly filed them in the first place. And I just have to wonder, how come Alex Spiro didn't tell him that? Well, because Alex Spiro had to have known that. And this is what I mean when I told you all previously that, in my opinion, Alex Spiro was just racking up the clock, just running up the tab on Jay-Z. Because Alex Spiro knew that Jay-Z should not have wanted those sanctions filed. Because here's the thing. Before you go and file sanctions and want a case dismissed, you have to sit down and talk to the attorney, the opposing counsel, and you have to talk to the accuser. And then you have to show them your proof or your reasoning as to why you want the case dismissed. You have to do all of that first. Jay-Z did not do any of that first. What he did was he saw the interview where she gave numerous inconsistencies in her story. And then after, he immediately filed for a dismissal and for sanctions for Busby and started talking about extortion and defamation and all of that. That's what he did. But he didn't follow the rule of law because you have to sit down and the rules of civil procedure. He didn't follow that. So that's why he had to dismiss it and then go back and refile his motions. Okay, or refile his paperwork. That's how that works. So anyway, I'm going to tell y'all, this is a whole whirlwind. Okay. So what do you all think about it? Easy says, I agree, but defendants are black. Yeah, they're black. What does that have to do with anything, beloved? What does that have to do with anything? This story is still crazy as hell. And this young woman, I'm just saying that she really, you can't trust what she's saying. We can't take anything she says with at face value at this point. You made up lies on other people before, allegedly? And then she admits to watching stuff about the stories on social media and on TV or whatever. This I am says, I agree with Queen, as they have not found the tapes they're looking for. Yeah, they haven't found those tapes. And I absolutely believe that they have tapes, but they don't have them. Diddy has them, that there are tapes that exist, but I think Diddy has them. Honey, Diddy's about to walk up out of there in May. Diddy's going to walk up out of there. The only thing they're going to get Diddy on is those weapons with the missing serial numbers. And the illegal substances, they're not even probably going to get him for that because there wasn't a huge amount of illegal substances. His defense team can argue that Diddy has a substance abuse problem. okay, and suggest that he needs help and therapy, that he needs rehab. If he didn't have enough illegal substances there to show that he was trying to distribute them to other people, that it was for sale or whatever, that it was just for his own public consumption, personal consumption, then his defense team could just simply say, well, our client does, respectfully, Your Honor, our client does have a substance abuse problem. We think that rather than charging him, that he should get some type of rehab. He should be, ordered to rehab or whatever. And then they'll charge him for those illegal weapons with no serial numbers. But all this other stuff, I think Diddy's going to get off, because this all sounds crazy as hell. It just gets crazier and crazier every day. And the jury pool is definitely shot to hell. Okay? What do you all think? Ones in the chat if you think Diddy can get a fair trial at this point. Ones in the chat. Twos if no. Ones in the chat. Let's take a poll. Ones in the chat if you think Diddy can get a fair trial at this point. Because I don't see how he can. At this point, they can't even have a change of venue. They can't even say, well, we're going to take it out of New York because he won't be able to have, a fair trial here, and there needs to be a change of venue. That's not even going to happen at this point, not in my opinion, because this is a global story. Like, everybody's talking about this. Hold on, my chat is stuck. Okay, so everybody's putting twos. That Crazy Beach area said criminals running amok. Everybody's putting twos. So none of us think that Diddy can get a fair trial. And guess what? That's why Diddy's going to get off. That's exactly why Diddy is 9 times out of 10 going to get off. Because, and even if Diddy was to be found guilty, which I doubt, but even if he was to be found guilty, his defense team is going to appeal. And if they appeal, they will win, in my opinion. Okay, but I don't think that Diddy's going to get found guilty on this stuff. It's all crazy. This story gets worse and worse every day. You mean to tell me all of this compelling information that we've been given by 2 investigators, Tony Busby and the ABA Law Group, they didn't know any of this? They had no knowledge of it, that this woman has a whole mental health history? The only thing Busby said is that she was autistic. So anyway, honey, I'm going to conclude this broadcast. You all like and share the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Be sure to click that notification bell and click the word all so you're notified each time the Queen Goddess goes live. Okay? With that all being said, I may be back later, so please keep your notifications on. Until next time, beloveds, each one teach one. That's how we grow and thrive. Do something productive, constructive, but never destructive. And always remember to keep the Most High first in your lives.
Gold all in my skin, God all in my blood, kings all in my circle. You touch one of mine and you're done. They show no love for the queen. Why you hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans? I got dreams like King Luther, shed blood like Kunta. You ain't helping my people, I ain't got nothing to say to ya. I want all the smoke like hookah. Talking reparations, America won't be great until they give us compensation. I'm like, I'm the hottest right now. That's See right. A bunch of lames out here trying to jock on my style. They be doing too much. I'm the queen, it's too easy. It's like they all at Popeyes, how they be talking so greasy. I just sit back and laugh while these haters get madder. So nefarious how they don't want my pockets with cheddar. I tell them they can do better. These snakes in the grass can leave a bite on your ass, cause y'all be trusting too fast. I got my foot on the gas, other one on they necks. Dropping receipts on haters, you better show some respect. I'm never facing regrets, we only facing the threats. Running through every challenge like a relay, break no sweat. It's a cold game, so I got that blanket with me. Now that my people awaken, ain't no going to sleep. I do not play by my piece, this time I'm playing for keeps. You talking slick, but when I see you like them ends, we gon' meet. And I got gold all in my skin, God all in my blood, kings all in my circle. You touch one of mine and you done. They show no love for the queen. Why they hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans and I got gold all in my skin, God all in my blood, kings all in my circle. circle, you touch one of mine and you done. They show no love for the queen. Why they hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X to my jeans and I got